Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining our webinar on automating testing of thick Java clients today. Just wanted to do some quick introductions of the AppVance team on the call today. I myself, Joe Pascal. I also have Rajesh, Shrikar, and Luis Carlos, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Rajesh Radhakrishnan. I'm the Sales Engineering Director here.
Hi, this is Sri Karachanta. I am Solutions Architect here.
Hello, this is Luis Carlos Lara. I am the technical expert in AJT.
Perfect, thanks guys. So just as an overall agenda today, we're going to run through some quick slides just as a introduction to AppVance and kind of how the platform has evolved into what it is today, and then we'll go ahead and show the demo. So with that said, AppVance is a very unique platform in the sense that it was the first platform truly built from the ground up to integrate with a true DevOps lifecycle. Anybody at any experience level or testing silo can create test scripts and test cases very easily in the platform. Our philosophy is this: create one UX level script and reuse or repurpose it for all types of tests, including functional, performance, security, and app penetration, and even synthetic APM on the back end. How do we do this? We leverage all types of integrations, from storing scripts in a repository like Git or Subversion, kicking off tests from a CI tool like a Jenkins or a Bamboo, or even deploying in an environment like SkyTap or Docker. Our scriptless test creation allows you to create simulated users at the UX level so that you never have to leave out the client-side code ever again. We also leverage all these open source languages as well in case you have existing scripts in place. Obviously, we don't want your team to have to toss out the previous work that you've put in, and we're not asking you to. You can either use our scripting language or anything on this list as well. Our platform helps instill rigor to your process enterprise-wide, and you really want to have all these different testing silos and all these different folks together on the same page. But specifically today, we're going to talk about Java thick clients, and that's a common struggle to test thoroughly, and that's something that we'll be able to help with today. The real challenge is that most legacy tools like a Selenium really choke up on Java elements. There's a lot of issues with being able to record properly in Java. So our solution is AJT, and that's AppVance Java technology, where a business process driven use case can actually be recorded in AppVance. It can easily be data driven, and then true test case scenarios can be created. And I want to highlight, no coding is needed. So the demo today, we're going to do we're going to actually record a use case in a Java thick client app. We're going to show how the script can be edited if needed, and we'll run it both as a functional and a data-driven performance test. Again, I want to highlight, no coding knowledge is required. So with that said, please type your questions in the WebEx chat box at any time, and what we'll do is we'll have a Q&A session after the demo. Thanks, everyone. So I'll turn it over to Rajesh now.
Thank you, Joe. And I'm going to start sharing my desktop. So I hope everybody can see my desktop. What we're going to see today is a brief introduction to the AppVance test methodology. Some of you may be new to it. We're going to see the UX testless script authoring feature that we have known as Designer, launch a test browser. This is how we record the applications. In addition to what we're going to see today is that for thick client applications like Java applets, we're going to see AJT to be the main script recorder. Once we record the UX level script, we typically run it in a test authoring environment known as Scenario Builder. I'll be giving an introduction to that. We'll be actually going through the demonstration of recording a UX level script with AJT. We'll be data driving the UX script. We'll be running a data-driven functional test, and we'll be running a data-driven performance test. This is the main dashboard. So the buttons are record, play, and analyze to represent that you record your UX level script, record your functional test scenario and your performance test scenario, and play them in the platform and analyzes the results all in the same platform. Let me give you a brief introduction to the designer. This is the designer menu. To start a recording, we just click on Start Recording, and we specify a test URL. There are a number of browsers that can be configured here. For the purpose of this demonstration, I have Firefox and IE. I'm going with Firefox. And as you can see in the test browser, it has launched the application. Now, I've shown you the step where we have launched a test browser. Let me go a little further to explain how you would run a test that is recorded through the designer. For that, we're going to the Scenario Builder. The Scenario Builder has various sections. So the first section is the name of the test scenario. The next is the test type, which is a functional test, performance test, or a business service monitor test. And you can run it any number of times if it's a functional test for the rows in the CSV file. Test management is good bookkeeping practices, the author name, creator name, links to any wiki page that has a spec. The test case field is the most important. What I have shown you here is you can have any number of script types as test cases, all running together in one scenario. So in this demonstration today, we will have a Appvance Java technology script, AJT, running. In addition, you will see other designer scripts running in parallel. But in addition, you can write any scripts that you want. We have different testing technologies supported. Now, those are test scripts that are running in sequence. You can also set it up in the Scenario Builder that you can run a parallel functional script if you want to. And any one of these test cases, when run in parallel, will be able to give you an amazing speed improvement on your functional test cases. You can also use the same Scenario Builder for running performance tests in parallel too, and I will get to that later. Now, how can you parallelize your runs? By specifying where you want to run them. We have a locations section where you can specify Amazon Cloud, your private cloud, or the software which is from IBM Cloud. And we accept configuration files for each one of these cloud configurations. The monitor section is for any application performance monitoring tools that you might have. So for example, if I'm integrating with App Dynamics, I would enter a name and a URL for the APC monitor that talks to the App Dynamics server. The resources section is primarily for all the software tools that we ship with Appvance so that you don't have to bring the software installations. We bring them with our installation, and you just need to provide the scripts and the data files. The options section is the one that is very important too. You have a lot of options for running performance tests. The interval time represents a time between one test case and another test case. Sleep time is the buffer time between one test case finishing and the next one starting. You can vary them in any random manner if you want to. The ramp up and ramp down sections are for mimicking user behavior, the 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. prime behavior. And we also have an option called think time, where to your UX level script, You can add wait statements to mimic user delay. Dynamic IP addressing is for IP spoofing. If you're launching thousands of users, we can generate thousands of unique IP addresses. We can save as much of the log file as you want. For large number of users, performance tests, you would typically not save 100%, but less than that. Database logging refers to how the results from each test in your DevOps framework, how much you want to save and how much you want to refer to them. And we currently save them all in a MySQL file. All of the remaining integrations of our other open source scripting technologies out there. Our platform is built with a REST API framework that is purpose-made for incorporating all the latest and greatest test technologies out there. We clearly believe that we need to be at the forefront of adopting new technologies. We also have a section for all the authentication schemes that are coming into play. The notification section represents who needs to be notified and how often they need to be notified. With this said, I have shown you the scenario builder, a very brief introduction to the designer. Let's get to the Appman's Java technology part. So let me go back to my window that I launched, the browser window I launched, and I'm just going to interact with the application. So this is a mock-up application that we built. It specifies the purpose that we have where people are entering data in terms of forms, because a lot of the applications, the most popular ones are Oracle Forms, Java Swing Technology, Java AWT. They have a lot of these common controls. So as you noticed, as I entered the applet, since the designer is running in the background, it launched the Appman's Java testing console. This is the console. So there are some default buttons that we pick in terms of how much information we want tracked. And this is the most important button, known as the record button. And all I'm going to do is to interact with the application. This is part of our promise for scriptless test authoring, no coding required. So as you can see, as I interacted with it, I got this action recorded for me. Now, what makes it very useful is this name feature that we offer, where you can give it a intelligent name as to what this object represented. Now I'm going to continue interacting with the application, and you will see the actions being recorded. So I'm just clicking the application and it's recording each of these actions. And the Java Swing class names are offered as path names here. This is part of our AJT feature set. So this is just a basic rental car application. I'm just interacting with it. And as you can see, everything's being recorded here. And the controls that we put in the applet are very similar to the normal controls that we see in most applets. So at this point, I want to take a break and show you these are all the steps that we recorded, right? And what we can do in addition is to be able to data drive individual fields. For example, the credit card number field. I want to be able to pass in multiple credit card numbers. This is part of the section that I was telling you about data driving a UX level script. Let me give it a name. DPL in this case refers to the data production library. So I'm giving this DPL field a name called credit card numbers. I'm giving it a default value. So here you will see this come up as type DPL. This means this is a data driven field. And where do we pass in the numbers for all of this? I have it prepared in this CSV file. And the CSV file, I have a list of numbers. The ID in the first column is for mostly for running AJT, but any new fields you want to add, you can just add a comma here, add additional fields, and it would get mapped by AJT to that field in the script. So at this point, I want to stop recording. I want to save my script. This is just a test script. I have another script which has all the steps nicely documented, and I will show you that. And we typically save our scripts as use cases because that's what we really represent. Is we want to be able to record intelligent workflows using the application. So in this case, this is a car rental use case. The applet might offer a flight booking use case, and that would be a different AJT script. So I had recorded previously a more detailed script. And this is where I had entered all the nice names. So you can see that now the script actually looks like a business case. It makes sense. You understand what it does. All of these. So I'm going to close out AJT and I'm going to end the recording. And for running this as a test case, you would take the designer script, save the designer script, pass it to the scenario builder, and I'm going to show you that. So this is the car rental functional test scenario. This is a functional test. I'm running just one row in my CSV file. And in the test case section, I've written, this is like the login part where you actually log into the applet, the first welcome page. That's what this designer script does. And then it launches the AJT script that has all the UX level actions that we did with the applet. And there is a final.ds that helps us keep the tests running. And this is just a way of a sequencer. And that's pretty much it. Everything's the same. So it's very, very, very easy to specify a functional test using the scriptless test authoring facility that we have through AJT. And we have specified the data source users.csv to be the data production library. We also offer other production libraries in terms of databases that can also be used later. So let us play this functional test. So this window is known as the controller window. For the purpose of this demonstration, I'm running the test on localhost to show that it actually pulls up the applications. You see the windows coming up. Typically, you would run these functional tests on your test nodes. You see the AJT controller pop up, and it's going to execute the test. As you can see, it's executing the clicks, the submit buttons. It's entering the fields. And all the test executions, these tabs will tell you what the status of the run is. This is a runtime functional test, and it's now collecting all the information after the test is run. So this is the summary result. And as you can see, for each of the clicks, these are all the resources that were pulled in by each step, the PNG files. This is all information that is very, very valuable to an application developer. The jar files, everything that is pulled up is listed here. CSS files, class files, everything. There is a runtime tab here. You can click on this. This is a quick report. We can also show you a more detailed report shortly. All the requests and responses are all archived here. The total duration is specified in terms of milliseconds for each step. So you have the time information and the size of each resources all present in one dashboard. This is the runtime dashboard. To get a full understanding of the complete report, you can click on the output tab, give an iteration summary, and we can also give you a CSV file, which has all the information saved. This is from the database, and we're exporting a CSV file, and you can see it in Excel. So all the information is saved and presented to you in CSV. You can also extract it from the database that's running behind AppVans. So now what you've seen is, up till now, you've seen running a data-driven functional test. Now let us see how to create a performance test. This is the part where a lot of the customers are very interested in our applet technology. You're able to launch parallel AJT tests. So again, back to our scenario builder, I labeled it performance test. The test type is a performance test. We say performance because we believe in our applications being improved in terms of performance through our platform. It's not just a load test. So I give it a nice iteration name. We give it a number of users. There are different types of completion criteria that we offer when you run your performance test. One of the criteria can be duration. You can run it for a certain number of minutes. In our case, we're just saying just run the exact test case executions. In the test case menu, if you notice, now we have this new tab which tells you how many executions you want to run, how many users. We have additional runtime options that we've added per test case, right? Ramp up, how many seconds, ramp down is nothing, but we want to set interval time between test cases, and everything else is the same. We're not going with the global options, we're going with the test case specific options. So we're running it on this machine. This is a very basic desktop machine, and we're going to run it on the same machine. So this test is going to take a little longer to run, and I'm going to scroll down and show you all the reports that are generated while the test runs. So it's going to be a little distracting with the windows popping up, but just keep focusing on the dashboard. So this is a performance run dashboard. Here's where you see the iteration reports. You can see the execution reports, and you can do execution control here. You can pause a large test and restart it. You can ramp up to thousands of users, and you can start, stop, and keep going on. All of these features are offered to you through the performance window. And every once in a while, this window refreshes to be able to collect the results at runtime. So I'm going to scroll down and show you all the windows that are being opened in parallel. And you're seeing this because it's running on localhost. Typically, you'll be running this on your private or public cloud, where you would just launch the tests and they would come back. And as you can see, we are getting a runtime update about the number of successes and failures. There is a runtime process that's running, that's collecting all the results, polling the nodes. Are you done running with the tests? Checking the test results. If we have any failures because of the applets, have any bugs, which are only shown during performance runs, they're shown as error messages. You can see them in this dashboard, or you'll see them in the report section that we showed you. So the way I'd set it up for this performance run was to run 2 sets of executions at 5 users each. Right, and we will be collecting the results. So all of these are seen in the runtime dashboard. And as you can see from the CSV file, we picked up different credit card numbers, which is from somewhere here. So we are actually running a data-driven performance run. So it is done with completely running the reports. So let's see the full test reports for our performance run. In our platform, you can actually see text reports and data tables all in one place. So here we're seeing the full functional report. Processing 0, all of these. If you're running a thousands of users, you would see the scalability report, the test case execution counts. And if there were any failures, what you would do is you would zoom in and they would be colored in a brown color, the failures, and you click on those failures, because that's a tester's life to see failures, not really all successes. And you could scroll through this and there'd be a section on the left hand side that says error and what's the crash tag in Java or any other error message you would see, that you would see them on the left hand side. The reason it says key and values because all of this information is archived for this test run. You can pull up this data at any time. All of the output that is returned from the server, all the applet information, everything is saved. This is the raw data that we are giving you in terms of CPU, memory, thread count. If you had integration with AppDynamics, for example, an APM tool, you would see an additional checkbox here for saying, show me also the APM server information if you want to, as an additional piece of data. Test case executions. These are the set of default reports that we give you. You can create custom reports and you click on this tab once the test is finished and say create these reports for me. And if there were multiple test nodes that were being used, for each of the test nodes you see a drop down for each test node and you get that information as to which tests were running on that test node. This is a very, very important piece of information. It shows you which steps took the longest time to execute. And as before, we have a CSV file that contains all of this information. The difference between the CSV file for the functional test versus a performance test is that we're doing some of the math for you. Across the set of 10 test cases, 5 users, we're giving you standard deviation, average, all of these statistics. And if there were any errors, we would still collect the statistics for the test cases that passed. Please look at all the resources that were pulled up, and you're looking for any pointers to resources that are huge. Maybe you could split them up. So there's a lot of information on all the resources. You have full visibility on all the information that is being transferred. Right? You can also run this test with different set of options. So in my case, I've run test case, I've run 2 sets of executions. You could select different locations where you'd want to run them if you had a cloud. So you have different types of options on how you would want to run your test cases. If you have just with the starting of the applet being downloaded, there's some service level agreements, timeouts that you need to check for. You can add them to the options form.
Great. So I think at this point, I think we're going to open it up to questions if there are any so far. Let's go ahead and check on that. Okay, so the first question that we're getting is how exactly does AJT work? So I'll probably leave that one to Luis Carlos.
Yes. Hello, this is Luis Carlos again. And the way AJT works is by translating the applet or the Swing application into an internal XML. So you are able to actually process the thing on that XML, and then by reflection, apply those actions into the applet itself. So it's a proprietary technology that we have developed to allow you to transform that that applet or that Swing application into an XML, do the actions there, and by reflections apply the results into the applet or the Swing application itself.
Okay, and thanks, Luis Carlos. And next question is how many concurrent users is the platform built for?
Yeah, so running AJT scripts is same as any other, or like running any other scripts in AppVance platform. That's like a designer or repurposing a SOAP UI script or a Selenium script. So it's scalable to tens of thousands of concurrent users. It all depends on how much of like a test node resources that are available. So, and the reporting that comes out of this is standardized across all other protocols. So you will be seeing the same kind of results for the test results.
Great. Can I run AJT scripts and API level scripts at the same time?
Yes. So we can combine AJT level scripts with Designer as it was actually demoed today. In addition to that, we can actually combine that with API level testing, wherein the servers are actually directly accessed at a REST API level and so on. The popular use of this technology that we are currently seeing is like, for example, Oracle Forms, which actually starts with a web layer, moves to an applet, and much of the Oracle Forms interaction is done in an applet, and then people actually do browser events again, like logging out and things like that. So AppFans AJT technology is a perfect match for use cases like those.
Do you support JTables?
Luis?
That is a question for me. We support JTables, and we support any UI elements that exist in the standard SWT and Swing frameworks.
Perfect. And I think the last question we have on the board here is can you record the inserting of a new row?
Yes, exactly. Again, anything that you can do in the UI should be able to record and play back in AJT.
Excellent. So if there's any other questions, feel free to type them into the box. We'll wait just a second. Great. Well, we've got a bunch of happy viewers then. So we really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us, and look forward to the next session. Thanks.
Thank you.
That sucks.